Dear friends, on behalf of Overman Foundation, I welcome you to the 8th Auro Ratna Award ceremony. Ever since its inception in March 2010, Overman Foundation has strived to recognize the invaluable contribution of all those sincere Aurobindonians who have worked tirelessly for the mission of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Accordingly, the Auro Ratna Award was started in 2010, and its first recipients were Amal Kiran, Professor Aurobindo Basu, and Jugal Kishore Mukherjee. In 2011, the award was given to Dr. Kirit Joshi, Dr. Prithvendra Mukherjee, and Mr. Ruby Gupta, the youngest son of Nolini Gupta. In 2012, the award was given to Dr. Premananda Kumar and Shraddhavan of Savitri Bhavan. In 2013, Dr. Ananda Reddy received this award. In 2014, Shobha Mitra was presented with this award. And in 2015, the award was given to Professor Manoj Das. Last year, the award was given to the late Chitra Bose of Calcutta. Dear friends, it gives me immense pleasure to announce that the award for the year 2017 will be given to our most respected and beloved Tara Didi, Ms. Tara Jodhar. Friends, normally when we have these programs, we introduce the recipient. But Tara Didi doesn't require any formal introduction. In fact, introducing her to the Aurobindian community would be like introducing the sun to the earthen lamps. I've heard about Tara Didi ever since my boyhood years, and I knew about her achievements. When I came in contact with her 2 years ago, and my experience tells me that undoubtedly her achievements are great, but she, as a person, is greater than her achievements. And Tara Didi, it's an honor for us to be able to present you the Auro Ratna Award named after Sri Aurobindo to you. Friends, Tara Didi has innumerable admirers across the globe. Some of them have sent some messages for her. Since we are pressed for time, I have selected only 4 of them. The rest would be available in our website in due course of time. So I'll just read out 4 messages which Dr. Premananda Kumar, Dr. Alok Pandey, Dr. Prithvendra Mukherjee, and Shraddhavan from Savitri Bhavan have sent. The first message is from Dr. Premananda Kumar, and she writes, I am delighted that the Overman Foundation is honoring Tara Didi with the Auro Ratna Award. I have known her for half a century and have learnt much from her to be self-reliant and so on. Whenever I see Tara briskly walking in the Delhi Ashram, the Sanskrit term Didi springs to my mind. For determination to do good and do the right thing and take up new areas for service are her badges. From the day when I first met her in Pondicherry Ashram, when she was explaining the new features and workings of the recent addition, a grand German typewriter, she remains the same, always speaking to the point. It is amazing how she has succeeded in making our Chachaji Sri Surendranath Joga's aspirations come true, for we have a golden ashram now, indeed a rose of God. I wish the function all success. Kindly convey my regards to Tara and rest of the ashram family. With affection, Premananda Kumar. The second message is from Dr. Alok Pandey, and he writes, normally, I do not indulge in eulogies for any sadhaka, either living or one who has passed away. For whatever one has been in one's life, and whatever one still has to be, is nothing else but the grace and glory of the Divine Mother. And there is so much more that is yet to come for all who have turned to her. The accomplishments of today are but nothing compared much more that is yet to come. I am sure someone of her stature needs neither an award nor approval of human beings who can hardly see below the surfaces of life. Still, it is good sometimes to share our moments with lives that are inspiring. And who can deny that Tara Didi's life is indeed and inspiration for many who are still to come. It is in this spirit and also this thought that when you admire someone, it is a divine workings within the person that we truly admire, the presence without which we are but dust. Having said that, one must admit that it is not easy to speak about the life of someone who has not only achieved so much in a short span of time, but more importantly, continues to forge ahead in thought and action, vision and work even at the present bodily age. It seems with Tara Didi that time has stopped and age has no meaning. At least they do not create any barriers to the wonderful work she has been engaged in for decades. And what a work, one must say. One is only reminded of this line from Savitri: a conscious power has drawn the plan of life. There is a meaning in each curve and line. It is an architecture high and grand, by many named and nameless masons built, in which unseen hands obey the unseen, and of its master builders she is one. Indeed, as Nolinida remarked that the greatness of the great is the greatness of the divine energy in them. This applies perfectly with regard to Tarati. How she was handpicked by the Mother, trained personally under her wings of glory and love, is all there in her beautiful books, Growing Up with the Mother. But what may not be so evident is how the Mother continues to pour her love and grace into this beautifully open and receptive, strong and powerful channel, except for those who had the privilege of observing her at close quarters. I had heard of Tarati years before meeting her. Those from whom I had heard about her were full of awe, and hence there arose in me a natural curiosity to meet her sometime, if the Mother so wills. My wish was fulfilled in the mid-90s when I was posted to Delhi. But what a contrast to the awe-inspiring image I had formed in my mind of a typical sadhika who would be wearing some sort of white sari and for whom smiling would be almost a blasphemy. Here was someone who could be so warm and friendly, so unassuming, not just smiling but also laughing with a carefree laughter given to those who love her and serve her with joy in their heart. Even though she was then the sole trustee of such a big ashram with its many silent activities, yet Sri Aurobindo's line that describes the Superman suited her very aptly. And he quotes, "To evolve in the sense of the God is to grow in intuition, in light, in joy, in love, in happy mastery. To serve by rule and to rule by service. To be able to be bold and swift and even violent without hurt or wickedness, and mild and kindly and even self-indulgent without laxity or vice or weakness. To make a bright and happy whole in oneself and by sympathy with mankind and all creatures." Dr. Pandey continues, "At least such was my impression of hers, and an impression which has justified itself over years of knowing her. I am quite sure that what works in her is some power, an aspect of the Divine Mother, and I suspect that Tarati is quite conscious of the Godhead who moves her. But let me not spill at the beans, all the beans. To put it more modestly, I can say that among all the Karma Yogis that I have met, none has impressed me as much as Tarati. Of course, we all know that Sri Aurobindo's path is not just a yoga of words, but a grand synthesis, an integral yoga, so to say. But there is no doubt a predominant streak of nature, a soul temperament, a soul poise that leads the journey. In Tarati, it is no doubt the Madonna of might who leads the way and makes the words that flow through her so grand and powerful, and yet done with such natural ease and grace. In her dealings with people, we can see both a strong and powerful side that can shake someone to the core, especially if the person has come wearing masks of deception. On the other hand, there is such a sweet and generous side that can go out of the way in her care for those whom she is so moved to do so. A resolute will and a plasticity that keeps the eyes fixed on only one thing, the work to be done, and leaves the rest to adapt with the flow of time is a rare combination, and she is indeed blessed to have this. Of course, we all know it is her grace, and Tarati's beauty is that she has never forgotten this central theme. For without this humility before the divine, one's greatness becomes arrogance, and all one's capacities slowly dwindle off. But in her case, as we all can witness, there is a constant growth. She would never hesitate to take up a work or project of the mother, and if she finds someone who can execute it well, then all the rest does not matter for her. What he is in his personal life and what are his antecedents, etc., are all secondary. All that is important is his or her ability to serve the mother and fulfill her vision. This single-pointedness towards her aim is something I have personally seen in Taradi and been truly inspired and impressed by it. In the end, that really matters. The worth of a man is not measured by the size of his shoe, but by the stature of his soul. And her soul is strong and erect, ever ready and willing and happy to serve her from whom she has emerged and for whom she is born. Of course, I have shared mainly what I have felt about her remarkable soul. But as in the case with her vibhutis, her nature too has many beautiful sides. A remarkable photographer, a sportsperson, and one known for her powerful voice reciting Sri Aurobindo's poems, Taradi has an intellectual side that she often tends to deliberately hide. Few may be aware that most of the questions that we find in the mother's question and answers during her evening classes were asked by her. In fact, she thus became a receptive instrument for so many of us in receiving the mother's answers through her. Perhaps it is still very much so, and we can take it that many of the things she says spontaneously and intuitively are simply inspired by her and reaching out to many more who need guidance in life. Her tremendous work at the Delhi and Nainital, as well as Madhuban Ashram, is for all to see. That she is born to the illustrious family of Sri Surendranath Jauhar is an additional feather in her cap. I am sure her being, as of anyone who has been touched by her grace, holds in the casket of her heart many more gems and jewels than we can fathom. After all, the mother chose her, and therein lies her greatest reward and satisfaction, so as that no other earthly gift or recognition can bring. To honor her is, in a way, to honor the mother whose precious gift and work of art Tara Didi is. I am sure she has many more things to do and many more works to accomplish, miles to go before I sleep, as the poet put it. We can only pray and wish that she remains healthy and strong, so that she can serve her more and more, better and better, for that alone is the true worth of her life and of ours. I am sure the mother has heard our prayers and of many more who have been touched by her grace through Tara Didi. The next message is from Sardhavan from Aurobindo. Tara Jauhar is indeed a shining star in the Sri Aurobindo's galaxy. The award and the recognition which are being bestowed on her today are richly deserved. I have heard and known of Tara as a very special child of our sweet mother since my earliest days in Aurobindo. Perhaps from her book about how the mother taught French to the children of the Ashram school. I first met her face to face in February 1982 when I had to be in Delhi for several weeks on Aurobindo work and enjoyed the privilege of staying in the ashram and participating in some of the activities there. The following year, in May 1983, I was able to join one of the Himalayan treks which were regularly organized by her in those days. A friend had advised me to join, promising me that it would be a life-changing experience, which indeed it proved to be. In October 1984, Helmut and I stayed there for a few days on our way to Darjeeling. Then again in 1996, we were able to stay in the Delhi ashram twice when traveling to Europe and then again on our homeward journey. We were impressed to see how much development had taken place in the ashram compound and activities since our visits in the early 1980s, all evidently due to Tara's leadership and guidance. After that, airline routes seem to have altered, and our commitments in Aurobindo have prevented us from visiting Delhi and the Himalayas again. So we have not been able to witness personally the spectacular blossoming that has occurred in the Delhi ashram over the last 21 years, and all the work being done there, which can be seen from their valuable and fascinating website. But I remember clearly Tara's cordiality, her wisdom, her skill in dealing with people of all ages from young children to elders, her astonishing energy, and her great organizational capacities. These qualities have surely come to her as the fruit of her years spent under the direct influence and guidance of the mother, who encouraged her adventurous spirit and was always with her, even when she was trekking through the snow in the Himalayas. She has under her care not only the Delhi Ashram campus and all the activities which have expanded so spectacularly our last visit, but also the centers at Nainital and Madhuban, all flourishing and spreading the light and love of the mother and the master. Thousands of people must have been touched and illumined by the rays of their influence through her work. Long may she continue her dedicated service to them. And the last message is actually a poem written by Dr. Presnted Mukherjee, who happens to be, I think, a classmate of Tara Didi and the grandson of the legendary revolutionary Bagha Jatin. And Presnted writes, and I quote, "On hearing George's Bresson sing the dirge of a lonely white steed, heedless of rain or fog, on the verge of despair it takes the lead. I fondly ask him, Mr. Bressons, can you not invent at the end rather another glorious suspense on which we may depend? For welcoming Tara to the select board of Auro Ratna, hailing once for all the conquering image of Chandi with her sword in the midst of a rejoicing yell. While diamond and gold can be measured in carat, compassion is making you measureless, Tara." Dear friends, since Tara Didi wanted this program to be a brief one, therefore we will not prolong it. We shall go straight away to the next part where we shall present her with the trophy, the certificate. And while doing so, I would first like to request Anju Didi to come here and present her with the Angad Ashram.
She will keep it well.
It's too difficult for me.
Now I would like to request Jayanti Didi to present her with the certificate. And now I would like to request Nalinji to please come here and present her with the trophy.
Thank you.
Now, a little more is left. Jaya, please come. And I will start.
The family of unity.
Tarati, would you like to say something?
Only that I have no certificates from my school or anything. Whether it covers that also or not.
It's for her to decide.
Every form you fill up for the government passport or whatever, they ask for qualifications. So now I think I can put this as qualification. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So with this, the program comes to an end. We shall meet again next year. Thank you all.
Thank you.
These are the messages.
Just one little request. Didi has something for everybody. There are some booklets on the Delhi Ashram, and there's also a small symbol. It is a carpet from mother's room. And
there was a very big cyclone in Pondicherry.
yeah.
And during that cyclone, the water came into Aurobindo's room and mother's room. And the carpets got spoiled. And they just couldn't repair them anymore. So they have put now the carpets that are there. Aurobindo and the mother have not walked on them. Those carpets on which mother and Aurobindo had walked, the ashram very nicely cut them into small pieces and put them into boxes, and they were distributed to all the ashramites on another date. I think the date is there.
Yes, it is.
In 1973, no, 1998, on Mother's Samadhi Day, they were distributed. Then there were many left. So when this time I had been to Pondicherry, I asked them if they can give us something for distribution, and they gave me huge quantity. They said, we don't know what to do. I said, I know what to do. We are celebrating the 60th anniversary of the shrine at Delhi on the 5th of December. So actually I brought these for that, but I thought it would be a good occasion because all will not be there on the 5th of December in Delhi, so you can all take this. अपने आप उठा लेंगे या क्या?
आप you can just start moving from here. It would be nice to take.
And you can come outside the next program.
And everybody can start walking that side.
Please, ये मत करिए, ये सिर्फ हमारे दोस्त हैं। please.
वो आपकी हिंदी की बराबर।
You got it? I got it. All that?
Yeah.
So we'll carry these inside and take. Everybody's got it.